devil is in the details, you see, which is part of the reason why people with nefarious intent don't like not knowing what's going on. Thank you, Spirit Team. Ancestors, deities, spirit guides specifically, calling in those who understand the nature of souls that deserve to be treated better respectfully. Starting with the Om staves, okay, and then I'm going to be backing it up with a couple of other decks, alright? Some people have gone to extreme lengths in order to prove certain situations to be in the right. When it comes to me and my energy readings, you see, my energy is a return of what's being projected at me, which means that I receive an awful lot of, let's just call it for what it is, okay? Unwanted attention from people who don't have good intentions at the end of the day. It's been happening all my life, okay? So what happens is these types of people, okay, they try to harness your positive energy because they lack it in some way, and they try to get you to mirror their negative energy, so in the dark and the shadows they can stay, because this is how they succeed, and especially when it comes to greed at the end of the day. When it comes to alchemy, you see, alchemizing your pain into purpose isn't easy. And doing it in a way where you don't lash out at others, okay? Even though there's a lot of projecting done when you do it that way. It's boss move at the end of the day. So, ancestral message, you see. For when it comes to ancestors who understand that they may have been part of the reason why generational trauma exists, and they've done the work, you know, so the memories, they know they still exist. But being a protector on the other side, when it comes to people who are the reason why you cried, mediumship can do a lot, okay? You know, this is the last step that people often have when they don't get a chance to make things right in the physical plane. If their souls have done enough work, you see, they'll be able to do rebalancing efforts on the other side if they choose to respectfully. Strafe. And some of it is a force changed, okay? But then again, generational trauma lives in families deep for many reasons, okay? Especially when it comes to addiction wounds in the Irish, you see. We've been through a lot, and it's known throughout history. For when it comes to women's peace, you see, you know, we've been fighting for women's peace for a long time, respectfully. Just look at Countess Markievicz, okay? Badass in her own right, back in the day. Cultivated space, you see. Cultivating the space of yourself while not allowing other people into your energy, and also not telling people what progresses you've made so that they can have a shortcut to the healing that you may have made. Doesn't make you a bad person, you see. It makes you a leader instead of being a maid, respectfully. I'm not going to talk about fairy tales, okay, because a lot of that gets twisted in a way. This is all about human behaviors at the end of the day. Time, martial tools. Sometimes people underestimate the fighter, you see. The one that has been in the trenches so deep all their life that people think that they're just not going to win in any mentality. The level of adversity thrown at certain souls, you see, means that other people get elevated intentionally, and other people get de-escalated disrespectfully. And this is part of tactics, okay? People do this in order to be able to assert control and dominance in a way. And it's often done in a way that's sneaky, you see. Because oftentimes the person who has a lot of potential is the one that won't be given the opportunity. And if it's given, okay, sometimes it's a poisoned cup in a way, which means that it's not going to come to fruition, and then they can say, well, you proved us wrong at the end of the day. Sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Emotional communication, you see. Even experts in different fields differ when it comes to working with the same tools and spirituality. And I think that that's in some ways healthy, all right? But you don't get to deny other people access to the resources that they can find and do it for themselves if they need to, And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, you see. It means that sometimes you just like to study independently. And sometimes you do it because of multiple different various reasons, okay? We're all human, we're all complex at the end of the day. And I think part of the issue, you see, is so many people take from others without giving enough back reciprocally, especially when it comes to energy, okay? I am a finite resource. I am very careful in many a way. And I've had to become this way, okay? It doesn't mean that I don't care about people. It just means that I clock certain things in certain ways. I often enjoy spaces where I don't have to be hypervigilant, you see. Going back to complex, respectfully. Some people also don't want people to have the access to those spaces, okay? Or they try to corrupt them so that these people don't feel comfortable at the end of the day, which is another control mechanism, okay? Community spaces can be hard, all right, because, when it comes to personalities, some people can be chalk and cheese. And, some people can be calm and some people can be ease. And some people can be, healing laughter, and some people can feel like a lecherous disease. And a lot of this has got to do with wounds, okay? I'm not judging for the most part, as long as you just don't get in my face, apparently is the way I move at the end of the day. This tape that's just popping out and sitting on the top, you see, is focusing chaos, respectfully. Some of us are good at focusing chaos, okay? Because of what we've been through in our life circumstances, all right? But people who have bad intentions will force chaos into your life in order to create conflict, so then that you can be shackled to a need that only they can fulfill, so that they can have the greed of the credit for the work you receive, forgetting that they also are a student on the path of life sometimes, indeed. Teachers and students should always work in tandem. And it's important when it comes to being a way shower to not have a tantrum. Now, tantrums can be beneficial, okay, because they make us human and fallible at the end of the day. But be careful when you have your tantrum, you see. What is the reason for it, and why are you behaving in that mentality? If you're having an emotional outburst, okay, because you've had somebody treat you very poorly to the point where you're reacting negatively, that is often understandable and it is visible, okay? But the other kind, after you're called out, that's just a control tactic at the end of the day. Energy readers operate in many ways. I think these days a lot you see. The amount of projection that happens on people who have empathy. And the more you withhold your empathy from people who don't have it, who previously had access to you, you see, well, that makes you the villain now, respectfully. And anybody who shares certain fandoms, for example, and you become potentially more eloquent when you ramble, well, people will take that as a sign of jealousy too. But you're the kind of person that you'd want people to be able to elevate and do that too. Again, control, you see. Even when it comes to community spaces, some people need to be in the spotlight for the wrong kind of reasons, unfortunately. And some who deserve the spotlight sit very quietly. This is why it's important to have people who will cheerleader and do advocacy with an anti-bias mentality. When it comes to projection wounds, okay, a lot of the time it's got to do with people who have amassed a lot through negative influence, all right? And if you're the kind of person who won't allow that negative influence to impact you, well, that makes you a threat because you destabilize their control over other people, you see. Which then automatically makes you the enemy. And what will happen is they'll actually band together with people who are of a similar mind, and they may talk about you in a way that they are concerned and think they're being kind. But not a single one will have texted you to see if you're okay. Make it make sense at the end of the day. For rooted guardianship, okay? Being a guardian to yourself and your peace doesn't make you a bad person in a way. Sometimes it makes you more powerful, you see. It's all about intentions, respectfully. Plus, controlling power. Controlling your own power can cause another person a tower. Especially when you end up disclosing words that cause other people to remember certain things, you see. Mediumship is not easy. And it means sometimes when you look around, okay, there's not many people who may be close to you who can understand in this way. And those who do are often of a very different age category too. Sometimes very young, sometimes very old, and sometimes from very different backgrounds, okay? Which is why, you know, diaspora and diversity are at play. Vital beginnings at the end of the day. Some of us don't feel comfortable even in cultivated spaces, you see, because unintentionally a few words will gather more attention than we intend. And whether it be for a positive or a negative way, some of us just naturally attract attention at the end of the day. And some of us try to do it in a positive, neutral way. You know, you can be neutral and upbeat without being overly emotional at the end of the day. I think when it comes to rational thinking, you see, and being very mindful not to be coercively controlling, especially when you have big energy, you know, trying to maintain a neutral with a slightly more positive outlook is the best way, okay? But some people will be jealous with that and try and force you into your shadow so that they can feel superior in a way. Pride is a double-edged sword at the end of the day. Dad or the world support, you see. Some people refuse to look in the mirror of how they treat others respectfully. And it's because of the wounds they won't deal with in themselves, okay? And some people just don't understand why it has to be this way. We're all human and fallible, you see. Project less, please. Active healing. Project less, please. When it comes to industries that create so much, when it comes to harvesting crystals and tools that force the world to weep so much, you'd be amazed what some lollipop sticks and a pen can do, and a cheat sheet that you asked for from some people you respect too, and a little handmade gift made with wool that had been placed on an altar, you see. You'd be amazed what you can do with creativity and trusted people, respectfully. Challenging fear out next, you see. I'm being told by my spirit team Be careful with this one. The shadow is deep, okay? And it's the shadow that other people try to shackle to this soul that they now can read fulfilled. LGBT at the end of the day. Ancient power play. Modern society tells us that relationships have to be in a certain way because it's a way to control humans at the end of the day. When it comes to being wise in certain situations, you see, be careful what knowledge you weaponize against friends and family. And sometimes when you're just a truth speaker, okay, people are going to be offended by the words no matter what you say. All you can do is tell them that there's genuine, authentic love behind it, you see. Rising tide floats all ships, respectfully. Cute chart, temporary setback, you see. When people try to create setback after setback and force themselves into competition with you so that they can be the one that can have the last word and, you know, either be the victor in everything or, you know, be the damnation that holds you on the string. These people don't get to hear you sing. Or if they do, it's at a distance, okay? But they'll never get to see what you're like when you're in a cultivated space surrounded by people who provide the level of understanding that the stories just roll. And you don't need to create certain spaces in order to just feed the soul. You'd be surprised what some trusted people in a fire pit can do. You'd be surprised what not being careful with the alcohol can do too. Necessary journey, you see. My journey with mediumship has not been easy. I've, throughout my years, accidentally channeled not knowing when I was younger, alright? Which meant that there was a stark disparity between my parents when I was sober or not, okay? And this isn't me just going, it's the ancestors' fault. No, that's not okay. But it does make a lot of sense at the end of the day. And some people have seen how the energy can change. And some people have now seen me mediumship sober on screen. Some people wish that that was something they hadn't seen. And some people think that that's a spiritual goal and a dream. Be careful with that part, okay? It takes a lot of nightmares. And the wounded souls on the other side, they still cry, okay? And some of them, it is like a certain piece of artwork, you see. Screaming mentality, okay? Souls trapped are not happy and not kind and do play with humans' minds. And if you believe in demons, you know, they feed them and pass them through certain portals, okay? You know, have time change side on spirit teams between the light and the dark happen in many a path, okay? Universal thinking at play. Cool, visionary wisdom, you see. And this is why on the Irish path we don't have, you know, an underworld. We just have the other worlds, the other side, outside, different traditions, okay? Apparently the accidental ding off my water bottle is a confirmation for somebody, alright? Or letting go. When it comes to letting go of people, you see, whether they are friends, family, internationally or locally, it's important to be able to let go in each and every interaction, okay? Because you don't know when the next one might be the last one, okay? Accidents happen at the end of the day. Apparently righteous endurance is staying in reverse, you see. Somebody tried to force endurance on some people that was never required, respectfully. And these people will just have to deal with not having access to certain energy. And some people will miss it all their lives, respectfully. And some people will hope that they'll have done enough work that they'll be able to reconnect with them eventually. And some people will just pour it into their artwork or their creativity. And some people will use it to become more grounded in their spirituality. And some people will be forced to focus chaos through their mental stability. And some people will find that they find a new life path or purpose. You know, I believe somebody is going to be moving from hospitality to the medical industry. And I believe they're going to be very good at it, okay? Cures come in many ways. Some people are regretting the martial tools they wielded, okay? Because when people say things like no weapons formed will prosper, that's against the wielders of the weapons who helped create them at the end of the day. And some people didn't realize that some of us have been quietly creating these tools for the guts of our lives, you see. Hidden high priestess mentality. So when it comes to the tools and the weapons that will not prosper, okay, some people outside of the Irish part are not doing all right. Doesn't mean that we wish them any harm. It's 2152 on the timer, okay? Important numbers for people at play. I don't wield setbacks against other people internationally deliberately. But what I will do is I will sit and stop people from stealing my downloads and creativity. And I will sit and wait for the justice to come that's required respectfully. And I will sit and I will ask for the other world supported that is needed when physical support isn't offered respectfully. And I will sit and listen to the ancestral messages, okay? Because that's part of my path, all right? It's part of the reason why I've hid from it so long, you see. And so many people never wanted me to get to that point because they think it's scary. Now, some don't think it's scary, okay? But it's been a very rough road to get to it, and it shouldn't have been this way. Pop in the left ear, okay? Some people really aren't going to be okay because they aren't able to endure what they put out. Some people are wanting me to pray for them, all right? But I'm being told by my position and my spirit team that's not right. I can wish them healing and learning, okay? But some people in my prayers, they will not stay. And that's just going to be the way it is, you see. I don't pray for certain types of abusers respectfully. So spirit team, what are we calling this, okay? Apparently it's the power to the tower of a concrete flower. Sloan, have a good day.